we're gonna do a old lion versus young lion segment here, and the debate is going to be Tupac and Biggie and other rappers. But we're gonna do the first debate will be Tupac and Biggie. So I ask you, um, this is my great nephew, who's literally like half my age. So who is the better rapper, Tupac or Biggie?
In my opinion.
Yeah, in your opinion. In your opinion,
In my opinion, the better rapper, in my opinion, I would uh, I'd probably say Tupac because I listen to more of Tupac music. I know more Tupac songs than I do of Biggie. But I'm not saying Biggie isn't a good rapper either. Biggie's a really good rapper. But my opinion, I'm more on the side of Tupac.
me personally, I agree. Um, I think Biggie's a really good rapper, but I mean, I guess maybe I'm kind of like more West Coast, so I guess maybe I'm a little bit more biased in my opinions on West Coast rap because I've listened to a lot more West Coast rappers. Don't get me wrong, I've listened to a lot of East Coast rappers. You
Yep.
know, Nas being one. Nas was a good rapper, um, but. To me, like I feel in my personal opinions of Tupac versus like Biggie as a rapper, I think Tupac was a better rapper. That's just my opinion. I think he was more diverse, and the things that he would rap about, uh, he had that diversity. You know, you know. Um, I'm sure in album sales, I'm sure he beat Notorious B.I.G. in album sales. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Well, let's bring up some
Yeah,
facts. Huh?
go ahead and look it up. But excuse me. Um, there's a lot of rappers that are really good. A good prime example is someone like Too Short, an amazing rapper, amazing the way he puts words together. But I feel that Too Short did not gain the same popularity that a lot of other more mainstream rappers gained just because of his content. It had more to do with his content, but he was amazing at putting words together. You know, I mean, me myself, I write poetry. You know, I published a book in poetry. So, me personally, I understand how it is to put words together. You know, to rhyme. You know, to come together. And if you guys want to check out my book, it's called Emotions in Poetry. You can find it on numerous outlets. It's on Google Play. It's Barnes and Noble. Um, it's on Amazon. It's in a lot of places. It's called Emotions in Poetry by Daniel M. Garrett. Yeah, that's who I am. If you want to check it out, but I understand the difficulties of putting words together. It's not. For some people, I think it comes very easy. I think it's very easy for certain people to compound phrases and make them rhyme and put them together. But I just think, to me, Tupac was uh, overall more entertaining and a better rapper and better at putting words together in my opinion.
Well, it says here, according to Wikipedia, in the United States, Tupac's biggest album was All Eyes on Me, and that was released when he was alive on February 13th, 1996. And that was a diamond album. and it reached 5,887,630 sales.
Yeah, because
sold
I mean,
that
what
many units.
platinum is like what, like a million?
Platinum in United Kingdom, he got platinum. It was 300,000 sales or 100,000 sales platinum,
Okay, so 100,000 is platinum.
or some, but they're all different according to Wikipedia. But yeah, he got platinum. He got gold, diamond. He got diamond on that one. Um,
Did Notorious B.I.G. Did he hit anywhere near 5 million sales, or just look at Notorious B.I.G.'s overall album sales, and you, that could probably end the debate. Because I remember it was a friend of mine from work, him and this other girl we work with, they were arguing because she was trying to say that NSYNC was way better than Backstreet Boys, and I was like, I don't even know that many NSYNC songs, but I said I know a lot of Backstreet Boys songs. Um, I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Backstreet Boys way outsold NSYNC, and not only did they outsell NSYNC, um, if you even include Justin Timberlake's sales with NSYNC,
yeah,
Backstreet Boys still outsold Justin Timberlake and NSYNC combined.
that's crazy.
So yeah,
Well,
that's pretty crazy.
right here, according to rockthebells.com, Life After Death, which was
It was probably number
which
one.
was
So
the Notorious B.I.G.'s album, second album,
yeah,
had 690,000 copies in its first week, and now currently stands at over 10 million album copies sold.
so they're
So he sold more albums, and his best
wow, really. So
Or
Notorious
sold
B.I.G.
more.
sold more albums than Tupac.
than Tupac. Yep,
Is that overall albums sold?
overall album sold to date.
So he sold over 10 million. Tupac only sold over 5 million.
Yeah, pretty much 5.5.
Okay,
5.5 million.
Interesting. I would just say though, in my opinion, I think Tupac was more entertaining. I mean, I take no credit away from Notorious B.I.G. He was, I've listened to probably all of his music. But if you said, hey Daniel, if you had to go on an island, right? Let's say I had to go on an island, and they said you can take one artist with you, their music with you. Who would you take? Me personally, I would pick Tupac. I mean, but that's me. That's my preference. So, I mean, if you're stranded on an island, who would you take?
Who would I take? If we're going Tupac, Biggie, I would definitely take Tupac. I enjoy his songs a little bit more. I think we're a little more biased though because we're from the West. So
Yeah, we're living on the West Coast. I mean, but honestly, I mean, I don't feed into the whole West Coast and East Coast gangster rap, and
yeah,
it's not even like that.
I don't feed into that either.
But I think just because I think East Coast is a different style.
Yeah,
it's a different style. It's to me, but it doesn't appeal to me because maybe someone like Dr. Dre, who produced a vast amount of music that came out on the West Coast, he used a lot of old school samples. He sampled a lot of this old school funk and all this music from all these different things, and maybe it's those things that really appeal to me. Is that the sampling and stuff, and it's the same thing. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, producing a lot of the stuff the Notorious B.I.G. did. As a prime example, he sampled a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe he utilized East Coast influences, like Juicy. Obviously that was a sample of a song that came out. I don't even know, in the 70s or 80s or something like that. So
Wait,
I'm just saying overall, probably Dr. Dre when it comes down to beats. I mean, look at who this guy has produced. Look at the outcomes of what he's produced. You know, and I mean, just from the game to
50
50
Cent,
Cent,
Eminem,
Eminem, probably the number one selling rap
artists.
artist
Yeah,
of all
I, th-
time.
I, I think I think he currently has the record of the most rap albums sold. I think number
Easily,
one. Yeah, I think
easily.
it was the.
As any producer, I would say probably Barnett. Like there's no question about that. Obviously, he's on his game, and how the music is put together, and then not just that though. I think the most interesting thing is how he's able to collaborate the person singing the song, rapping the song, and then producing that around that individual. You know,
Yeah.
where I'm sure he, excuse me, he's produced probably his own unique beats that are around these individuals. But then he's also sampled things that were old school,
Yeah.
from the old school, that he was able to you know apply to these rappers to get them to rap around. But I mean, someone who has a really good flow, you could probably just play any beat. Prime
Any beat.
example was remember Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
Puff Daddy literally took that song, the beat from Kashmir, and he actually like made a song. And I remember like Jimmy Page is actually in the video, like playing guitar in the music video and stuff. So that's a diversity where you could take, like, it's like, could you imagine like a rapper, someone like Spice One or something, and he's rapping on like some like heavy metal, like you took some like heavy metal song or something, and you just had like Spice One could probably do it. I wouldn't even put
Yeah.
that past Spice
But
One, that he would be able to do that.
it's like what you said though. It's all about the style. I guess the style of the individual rapping, the way they rap. Like I'm pretty sure Eminem. If you put Eminem on a heavy metal beat, he'd probably kill the heavy metal beat because of the way he
Yeah,
raps.
I agree. But I mean, I think that there are people who are literally able lyrically, because I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Your own brother-in-law will. I've
Yeah.
seen him freestyle and just he could tear it up, you know. Um, and some people like they can do that on the fly. That was one of the arguments about Notorious B.I.G. Notorious B.I.G. People would say this guy could freestyle
But
it, and like nothing. Where like people would say about Tupac, oh, Tupac would have to write his lyrics down, and he would have to go, and he would have to listen. He would write all these like these poems or this poetry, and he would write all this stuff down, and then when he would get on the mic, he would just basically read off of it and flow off of it. But he would have to like read it off notes, or he would have to read it off poems or whatever that he wrote. Where Notorious B.I.G. could just spit like this natural like flow, you know.
yeah,
So
and I think that goes back, you know, to the style of rap because, you know, lyrically, Tupac had more lyrical meaning because I think he wrote his rhymes down.
yeah, it
And
was
they
like
came
it
from
was
the
poetry.
heart, and they
It was
came from
like
the heart.
like poetry.
And I mean, the Notorious B.I.G. did the same thing in songs like Juicy and but yeah, like I'm more into that music with the meaning, um, over music that's freestyled. Even though freestyle music does sound really good, I like a little meaning, um, to the music, or I feel like it gets boring because it doesn't relate to me, or I don't have like a connection
Well,
to it.
looks like me. Like I said, um, I'm a published author and a poet. Um, is that I have to really calculate and think about what I'm writing. And a lot of times I will literally write something. It'll sound amazing. I'll write it down. It sounds amazing. I could come back to that 2 weeks later, and I would just scrutinize the hell out of it. I literally scrutinize it and change a bunch of stuff around. Um, and then after I read it again, I go, wow, that sounds so much better. You know what I'm saying? So, um, does that make me a studio poet? Yeah, I guess, I guess you could define me as a studio poet, but I mean, I want to make sure that my poems sound right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think there's anything wrong with going back and scrutinizing something that you wrote or something that you did. Um,
Well, that only makes you better, as an artist or in your case, as a poet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that, and I'm sure I may not read a poem of mine 2 years from now, and I could be like, wow, man, I could have changed this, or I could have wrote this a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I could have changed. I could have changed this up. So, and I think that's any artist. Any artist will always have a critique of their own work, and I think, but that's important too, because the more critiques that you have of your work, the better you're going to become.
Yeah, I think we as our us as ourselves, our worst critic or our best critic, or
correct. Yeah. We should be our number one critic.
Our number one critic,
and we absolutely should have a critique of the things, especially it's like a basketball player. You could take Kobe Bryant. Oh, I shoot 1,000 jump shots every day. Where you might take some other basketball player who's a decent basketball player. Well, I don't have to shoot 1,000 jump shots today. Well, that's probably why you're not as good as Kobe.
Yeah.
Or you're not as good as Jordan, or you're not as good as someone else is, because because you're content with being subpar. Yeah. You're content with being a subpar basketball player. So you're like, no, I ain't gonna shoot 1,000 jump shots a day.
Yeah, it's good.
I just go when the coach tells me to go to practice. I just go practice.
Yeah,
exactly. And you may not even have critiques over how you play basketball or whatever, but this is why you have the greats. You have the greats, and this is like me. When it comes to my poetry, I have very strong critiques about what I write, or how I write it, or what goes into it, because I'm like, I want this to sound good. You know what I'm saying? Not just for myself, but I want other people, when they read it, I want other people to enjoy it. And that could have been a lot of things with Tupac, as to why Tupac, wrote a lot of his stuff down, because, he was a poet. He was a lyrical poet.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying about his music. I kind of relate, not like 100% relate, but I could feel the impact of his, of the stories he's telling, of these images he's putting in our head, of his struggles, or whatever he was.
Yeah, like Dear Mama. It's like it tells a story. And it's more than like. Don't get me wrong. I love Too Short. But like I said, someone like Too Short is that he's very specific about what he's like rapping about. You know what I'm saying? Is like Too Short's more he's vulgar, he's very vulgar, he's dirty, and he even says like, I have no apologies over that. And I was like, hey, do your thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good, but I mean, he did do songs though, The Ghetto. The Ghetto. Getting it, yeah, like really get yourself out of your bad situations, and get your money, man. Get yours, and that's good. That's motivational. That's a good thing. But I mean, there's a lot of things you could say. I mean, you're 22 years old. Mm-hmm. It's like when we were talking to Will the other day, and how old's Will?
Will's 20. He's 26 or 25.
25.
26.
So it's like, you see when I said Spice One, and I was like, when we were talking about how I wrote those lyrics for the song that you were working on.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh man, that was crazy. Like, how'd you come up with that? Like that was. And I was like, well, I was listening to a lot of gangster rap.
Yeah, which was
I was listening to like MC8 and like Spice One, and all these crazy gangster rappers and stuff like that. Like, and I mean, Spice One had certain songs, that he had, but a lot of his stuff. I mean, one of his probably most famous songs is from the movie. What's that movie called? Tales from the Hood. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie
No, I haven't
Tales from
seen
the
that,
Hood. Well, the song that's in the primary song that's in that movie, and it has like this like piano key drop, and it's that Spice One rapping. That's his song, but it's a gangster it's a gangster song. You know what I'm saying? It's like hardcore about like
murderers.
murdering and doing drive-bys and stuff like that. You know, but like you listen to Spice One's flow, and it's very unique in that sense. It's just in a lot of ways it's one of a kind. And I don't really think Spice One ever cared about being mainstream. I mean, I think if he really did care about being mainstream, he probably would be up there with some of the most successful rappers on the face of the planet. It's the same thing with Too Short. Too Short just said, you don't like my dirty raps, you can go to hell.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true. Yeah,
and
it's because they, a lot of people, they're like, I'm pretty sure like Tupac. I'm pretty sure he could have been more famous if he would have rapped, like more mainstream. Or I know one of his most mainstream songs is California Love. It's like a party song.
yeah, or
Um,
how do you want it?
How do you want it?
Yeah,
But a lot of his music, was more like emotional or had a meaning behind it. And I a lot of people they rather hear for instance Too Short. We got to blow the whistle. That's like the party song.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
You could have the club.
hear that in the club.
Whistle.
And
Whistle.
and I think that's where a lot of music too started getting more famous, was in clubs and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think that really changed rap
It really
altogether.
changed rap. Yeah.
Well, because think of the song, like you said, how do you want it? Like they're playing that in clubs and strip
Or
clubs and all kinds of places. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing with California Love, like din 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 din. California, like that's gonna bump. That's gonna bump in the
that's what I'm
club.
bumping in the club. Yeah, because a lot of people they like to hear that kind of music. Um, you know, it you know, and yeah, because most people are hanging out with friends. They're not gonna want to hear a song about about struggling or stuff like that, because they want to hear music that's gonna make them feel good. Want to dance and enjoy their time.
Well, it's like, I mean, you yourself, I'm sure you listen to modern day rappers.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say is the best modern day rapper today?
In my opinion, one rapper that I really like, I listen to all the time is NF.
NF. Okay.
NF is one of my favorite rappers. Um, I like rappers like NF. Another rapper like him was the one you were showing me. Um, can't think of his name right now. Um, he did the one song you like,
The System.
The System.
Oh, Tom McDonald.
Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
He has like meaningful rap. I mean, NF's kind of the same way, except NF's more. He makes personal music about his personal life, and a lot of his music I feel like I personally connect to, because a lot of people my age this time they like to listen to you know mainstream rappers and stuff, but I feel like to me what's more important is like meaning, and that's why again I pick Tupac over the Notorious B.I.G., because his music to me had more meaning.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is all my
Yeah,
my
I would
opinion.
I would agree with that.
And I'm not saying that the Notorious B.I.G. is not a good rapper, because even his music, dude, like Juicy, I love that song, dude. Like,
Yeah,
that's in my playlist. It's definitely in my playlist.
It's
Like that
definitely
song
very-
comes on, I don't hit the skip. That
Yeah.
song's playing. He has a couple songs, but I feel like Tupac was more of my style, and once again, it could be because we're from the West Coast, and maybe that's what we're used to. But at the same time, I'm just more into that lyrical flow, you know.
So the question I have, people around your age, what do you think? What do you think that they think is the most like popular rapper
Well,
on the
number
face of
one,
the planet?
people are gonna say Drake, Kanye West. If now in times like
You
newer,
right now they would say Kanye West, considering I mean the circumstances with all the
well,
stuff
yeah, I mean people
that's
love
been going
Kanye,
on.
bro.
So
Like you know, it doesn't mean he didn't make good music. He
no, I
made
mean
really good
I
music.
like some Kanye songs. There's
Yeah, I mean
songs
even
that Kanye has made that were I really liked.
yeah,
I thought they were
and
amazing.
he stays up there because also a lot of people love him because he has his footwear, Yeezys, his clothing brand, his Yeezy brand. Um, People love that stuff. And that's the newer style. Drake too. Drake, they love that music. Drake makes Lil Baby. There's a lot of rappers that are really mainstream right now that
What about okay? So what about like that like who are these rappers? Like my question is like these rappers that go they're satanic or like but they're really popular and stuff. It's almost like the whole Taylor Swift thing. They go she was the pretty girl next door and now she's a part of a satanic cult or something. Like they say crazy. I just hear crazy things.
theories and
I don't listen to Taylor Swift personally. I don't listen to her music. I mean, I'm sure I've probably heard her songs before.
yeah,
heard them in a restaurant.
She's got a lot of radio play.
Yeah, she's got a lot of radio play. So I mean, I've heard it, but like, that's the thing is you like I'll watch like a YouTube video where it's talking about look at this satanic ritual that was done, J-Lo and Madonna and like all these people, and I'm just kind of like I don't really follow these people, so I don't really know. But like I know that there's like some rapper out there, and they're saying like he has just blatant satanic symbolism in his concerts. So I mean, like I said,
I'm pretty sure you're talking about Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
He's openly satanic, but his inspirations were like Marilyn Manson, which is another
Okay.
openly satanic, individual. But
yeah, I mean, well, and I mean, here's the weird thing, I know like where it goes from gangster rap to me. I listen to a lot of heavy metal. I listen to a lot of heavy metal. I love bands like Slipknot. I've listened to a lot of stuff. And Marilyn Manson is one of those musicians that I've listened to that I like.
so yeah,
I can't say I like all of his music, but there's probably a good percentage of his music that I think is very entertaining, or in some ways it may even have a good message. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't sound satanic. A lot of his stuff is kind of like screw the system, screw you, screw the system. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, type of thing.
yeah, which I personally don't listen to Marilyn Manson. I think he's more back in the day. He doesn't come up.
Oh well, yeah, he was big in the late '90s.
Yeah, he doesn't come up.
When I was a teenager, he was huge in the
He doesn't
90s.
come up like I don't think he's not the first person. Artists from the '90s that I do like. That I don't listen to heavy metal. I don't listen to too much heavy metal.
You've heard Slipknot though.
Slipknot, yeah, I heard Slipknot. I like
System of a Down.
System of a Down. But I like more of alternative. I like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You like that '90s also.
I like that 90s.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, The Killers. Just to name a couple.
Tool.
Tool. It's a pretty good band.
Yeah,
Bush.
I got to introduce you to some more punk '90s punk. You'll probably like it.
Like I guess the punk I listen to would probably be like Green Day, but a lot of people don't consider them punk.
More. Yeah, that's more alternative.
The only punk band that I know that's I think from the '80s is Operation Ivy.
Yeah,
And they only released like one studio album probably, and it wasn't even it wasn't mainstream or nothing.
like Dookie is like something that you would say was it sounded very punk. There was a lot of punk to it, but it was just Green Day's just more alternative punk is what
Yeah,
you could.
it's
It's sort of like Blake 182.
Yeah,
Blake
it's
182.
punk music, but it's
Dude Ranch. That's a
yeah.
very punkish kind of album, but it's poppy.
Well-
It's poppy punk. It's not like Bad Religion.
No.
It's not like something like you're
No, but
listening to Bad Religion.
a lot
or
of
something.
a lot of punk people, they, once you sign to a record label, you see you're a sellout. So obviously, they wouldn't consider Green Day or Blink-182
Well,
punk music.
and
that's
that's
controversial.
a very good point because bands like Pennywise.
Mhm.
Pennywise is a punk band, and Pennywise they had radio play in the '90s, like the late '90s. Pennywise was getting a lot of radio play, and for whatever happened, it's Too Short. Too Short was getting radio play in the '90s too. They're getting it, and they were playing the songs on the radio. And then whatever happened, after 2000, like everything just kind of changed. Like the whole
music.
spectrum of music
I think
started changing.
I think that had to do a lot too with the 9/11. Like
Yeah.
they got rid of a lot.
Well,
of
yeah, they
music.
did because
Good
I
music,
remember I think it was a video you and I were watching recently about how they said that they wanted to ban System of the Down.
Yeah, because their music, even though the album was released before the 9/11 attacks, they had some songs on there.
Well, no, it was released that album, Toxicity.
Yeah,
it was
before.
released 2 weeks or something before the 9/11.
And they had songs like Jet Pilot, which
was
Chop Suey, and they're talking about they say suicide.
That's when they were trying. They were trying to say that they were like they were like prophets or psychics or something.
Or they have like songs like I know they banned like TNT by AC/DC.
Oh, AC/DC.
Because it's DNT, we're dynamite. Or,
TNT, dynamite.
Yeah, because they're they even banned,
which is ridiculous because that song easily came out in the late '70s or early '80s.
Even more ridiculous, they banned Red Hot Chili Peppers Under the Bridge.
Really?
Yeah, they banned that in the 2000s
that.
because even that was controversial. I don't
know. Drug use and all like substance abuse or something.
So they were very, very sensitive.
One of the biggest bands banned after 9/11 was Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Morello was actually even talking about that saying there he goes, my band was totally and completely banned from radio and all this stuff after 9/11. And but I mean, Rage Against the Machine talked about very controversial subjects, dude. Like it is. Don't get me wrong, I love Rage Against the Machine. That's one of my favorite bands. But yes, they're very controversial subjects. With Rage Against the Machine, amazing band. That's probably one of the best rock bands ever put together.
Yeah, right here. After 9/11, they banned 164 songs. This is according to Kerrang.com.
Kerrang?
Kerrang.com.
Okay, Kerrang. Is that like a notable outlet or a?
Let me see.
Yeah. What's word I'm looking for? Not notable, but a viable outlet.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure.
This is the same list as you could probably find on any rock sites or alternative sites. But this is the list they have for Kerrang.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kerrang.
Okay, Kerrang. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we elaborate on where the information is coming from. So this is not our opinion.
No, these are the songs that were banned.
Kerrang.
I'm gonna name a couple because there's 164.
Just name a few.
I'll name
some popular bands. Just name a few.
They got 3 Doors Down, Duck and Run.
Ooh, interesting.
So they got a lot of AC/DC on there.
Okay.
They have. They got.
Alice in Chains, Rooster, Sea of Sorrow.
Change, Beastie Boys, The Beatles.
Really?
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, I seen. Sabbath. Bloody Sabbath, yeah.
Drowning Pool, Bodies.
Yeah, Bodies at the Floor.
Yeah.
Everclear
Elvis.
Santa Monica?
Yeah, Elvis.
What?
You're the Devil in Disguise. Foo Fighters. Learn to Fly. Jimi Hendrix. Hey Joe.
Hey Joe. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
a lot of these
song.
9 Inch Nails right here. Head like a
Yeah, I
hole.
had like a whole, yeah. Well, Nine Inch Nails, their first album was amazing, dude, but it was just,
Yeah,
it dealt with a lot of, like,
Um,
controversial things.
right here they have Red Hot Chili. They got 2 songs by Red Hot Chili Pepper. They got Aeroplane, and they have Under the Bridge. They got Queen. Another one bites the dust, and Killer
okay.
Queen.
Yeah.
They got
It almost
POD.
seems like, yeah, just, well, I mean, another one bites the dust is like,
Yeah, like-
you could apply that to, like, racing. You know?
Dude,
Like, you
dude.
beat someone in a race, you're like, another one bites the dust.
Well, they got Third Eye Blind Jumper. They got
Okay.
YouTube
Well,
Sunday.
yeah, but-
They got YouTube Sunday Bloody Sunday,
yeah.
which
Sunday, bloody
you know.
Sunday. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a very good song.
Yeah, it's a right here they have the System of a Down, Chop Suey.
Yeah, Chop Suey.
I think-
Yeah, well, no, because that song, what was it? The jet plane song?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't think that ever got radio play.
no,
But the conspiracy behind that song was the album got released 2 weeks before 9/11, and supposedly that song
well,
speaks of 9/11. I mean, I people told me this. I've heard the song probably hundreds of times. Myself personally, I've heard it hundreds of times, but I could never derive the correlation between that song and 9/11. Me personally, I've listened to it many times, and I just go. It's actually kind of even hard to understand the lyrics. How Surge is singing the song. It's kind of difficult to understand. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not listening hard enough. I don't know, but I've listened to the song many times, and it just me personally, I just it's something about a jet pilot went through the eyes of a horse, and they smile at me, or
no, the lyrics. Yeah, I brought up the lyrics here.
Okay.
It was wired were the eyes of a horse on a jet pilot, one that smiled when he flew over the bay. And then
Okay.
it said that twice. Said, yeah, that was the chorus, and I think that was the controversial part of the whole song, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just one part, but I mean, you're what do you like? What I'm saying is what are you correlating it with? What's the correlation? It flew over a bay. Well, there's a bay right next to Manhattan. Well, how many? There's a bay right next to London, England. I mean, how many bays are there next to any object that you could associate that with? It's almost like a Nostradamus effect. You have a very sparse thing, and then you're applying it to 1,000 different scenarios that could possibly be. So,
well, I don't think the song itself was about, like for instance, suicide or bombings, but maybe because they're taking the lyrics, they're just seeing the lyrics. Wired were the eyes of a horse on a jet pilot.
when it smiles, they flew over the bay.
So they're thinking, oh well.
That's why I always heard the lyric, but I'd just be like, how
does that connect to 9/11?
Correct. What is the association?
Yeah.
I think it's more coincidence than the System of the Down literally. That was 100% a prediction of 9/11. They said that they smiled when they flew over the bay, and it's like, the bay of what? The Bay of Pigs?
Yeah.
The U.S. government's attempt to invade Cuba, it's called the Bay of Pigs. So I mean, they could have even been associating that lyric in that song, or the chorus part of that song. Maybe they were associated with the Bay of Pigs in Cuba. So there's a lot of bays everywhere. There's bays all over the world in major countries, and so I mean, I just think people always want to associate things with what they want to hear, and it's the same thing as like, oh, is Tupac really dead? Is Tupac really alive? And like me personally, if it turned out that Tupac was alive, I'll be 100. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and I might sound like a crazy person saying this, and I don't really care. Uh, if it turned out that Tupac was still alive today, I would not be surprised.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me. The guy had already had an attempt on his life, and I remember certain things. Maybe I don't remember them very well. I know I was a teenager at the time, but I do remember they had to perform multiple surgeries on him. Right? He was in the hospital. They said he's stabilizing, and then then Reverend Jesse Jackson came out and said, "Oh, he's dead." So why didn't the doctors? Why didn't the doctor come out and pronounce him dead? Why did Reverend Jesse Jackson come out and say that he was dead? So now think of this though. Let's say you're Tupac, and someone made an attempt on your life, dude, and killed two of the people you were with, and you survived this supposed robbery that coming down from a studio after you were with Notorious B.I.G. Right?
Yeah.
You come down this elevator, and not only are you shot, but the two people you're with are killed. Okay? You survive this. You recover from it. You come back from it. You become now one of the biggest rap artists in the world at that time. And then another attempt on your life is taken, and you survive that. Are you not going to literally probably maybe say, you know what? There are people literally that want me dead. So maybe it's a good idea. They tell him, look, man, you can leave. We'll say you're dead. You can go in hiding because obviously someone wants you dead, and they're going to keep coming after you till you do it.
Well,
if you have to stop and put yourself in his position, right? I'm telling you what I think. I put myself in that position. I go, you know what? Maybe I should go into hiding.
Yeah, but
maybe it's a good idea I go into hiding, and it's better that people think that I'm dead. Why? Because there may be another attempt on your life, and maybe they'll be successful this time. Especially they said, "Oh, we performed all these operations, and Mr. Shakur is stabilizing."
Yeah.
You survived a second attempt on your life. Do you really want to go? Oh, let's see if there's a third.
Well, that's the thing. Tupac was, his persona. I don't think he was hardcore, man.
Yeah, he was hardcore, but when you have your mom, you have your mother, you have your girlfriend, you have people around you, and they tell you, look, dude, someone wants you dead. Someone wants you dead. And this is now the second attempt that they've taken on your life to kill you. That you may not, you're lucky, you survived the second one. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, potentially this may be the possibility. You're gonna have to stop, and you're gonna have to say, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna walk away from this. And this is one of the conspiracy theories that's behind why Tupac was still releasing music after he was dead. That was one of the theories. People said, "Oh no, he was a studio rat. This guy was in the studio all day, recording tracks. He was constantly recording tracks. That's why so many albums came out after this guy died, But it's funny too because you have the Machiavelli album.
Yeah.
What was the Machiavelli album? Who was Machiavelli? It was a man who faked his death so that he could escape the position that he was in.
Yeah.
So why is it after you die, the Machiavelli album comes out? So that's what I'm saying. Is there's a lot of weird stuff that's behind that. I'm not saying that Tupac's still alive, but I'm also not saying, it's not a possibility that there were two attempts on his life, and that they said, "Hey, dude, you got to get out of Dodge." That's fine.
Yeah.
You can still make music. Yeah, your Machiavelli album. What was it? Tupac Resurrections.
Yeah.
How many albums? This guy had he had a double CD come out, I think, after he died. So I think there's just something weird about it. That's my personal opinion. But there was a lot of weird things that surrounded it. But a lot of people say about Elvis. Oh, there was a lot of weird things surrounding, because I think also too you have fans, they idolize and they love that person so much.
Yeah, they
You know,
can't
like
accept it.
when Elvis died,
Yeah,
they
they
went,
can't
oh,
accept it.
Elvis just didn't want to be famous anymore, so he faked his own death, so that and maybe who knows.
Yeah,
There's controversies around Michael Jackson,
yeah.
that Michael Jackson may have done the same thing.
They have the
He may have faked his own death. That I'm not saying he did. I'm saying it's maybe he did fake his own death because he wanted to escape fame.
Yeah,
Because when people come up to you and go, "Oh, hey, oh wow, you look just like Michael Jackson," oh, I get that all the time.
yeah.
Or, "Oh, wow, man, you look just like Tupac." Yeah, yeah, I get that all the time. I get that all the time. Yeah, people tell me I look like Tupac. Like the guy who played the actor in the movie looked like Tupac.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that that. But I can't even imagine. Imagine you're so famous, bro. You can't walk down the street without being mobbed, like people mobbing on you, and
Yeah.
people attacking you, or like wanting to rip off a piece of your clothing because you're so famous. Like I can't
Yeah, I
imagine
think
it. I can't imagine.
that would do damage on like somebody's mental state.
Yeah, psychologically, absolutely.
Psychologically, yeah.
Or you're with your family.
You can't just be, it's like it's funny. It's like that one Eminem song when he was like, "Man, I can't even." He was saying something about him eating. I can't even sit and eat in public with my family or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Without people.
I
Trying
wish
to
that
get
I
him
would just die or get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was I am whatever you say I am. Yeah, but that's the thing, is it's I can't imagine being so famous to where you come to the point. Imagine coming to the point in your life where you go, you know what? I'm gonna fake my own death because I don't want to get swarmed by fans, or I don't want to get mobbed on by fans. You know, we can't fathom it because we're not in that position. But I mean, I could literally take that in consideration, and I could think myself. I could say that would be crazy. That would just imagine you can't go to IHOP anymore.
Yeah,
You can't go have breakfast.
You got like
You
20
can't go
people.
anywhere.
You
You have to have bodyguards. You have to have the same protection that the president of the United States has. To go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah.
And that's a I don't think a lot of us, we don't take that into consideration. We don't take it into consideration because you know we probably take our privacy, we take a lot of things that we have for granted,
Yeah.
that you can't do those things. But to cap off the topic, if I'm stranded on an island and I can only take one person's music with me, either Tupac or Biggie, I'm going to take Tupac. I take nothing away from Notorious B.I.G. I love a lot of his music. I own a lot of his music. So, but if I have to choose one or the other, it's not an East Coast or West Coast. I'm not saying, oh well, because I'm West Coast, so I'm gonna pick. No, I'm just saying is the tone, the sound, the message, everything behind the music appeals more to me. You know, I mean, I wish I could take both. I wish I could take both with me on that island. But
Yeah.
if I had to choose one, I would choose Tupac. So
Yeah, and I would 100% agree with your statement. Exactly the way you worded it. Like I said, his music is more meaning, and I like meaningful music. I feel like when you have some type of emotional connection, or you could feel his emotion, you could feel his struggle through his lyrics, paint a picture. I feel like I like it better.
yeah, I feel Tupac has Brenda's Got a Baby, Dear Mama. I think that there is more emotion behind what
because
Tupac could what he was able to
well, 'cause,
produce as a rapper.
As us who we're not a famous rapper, or we like these rappers are rapping, oh, I got money stacks to the roof and all that stuff. I don't know what that's like. So obviously I can't relate to that picture, that image, but I can relate with the pictures that Tupac was painting on struggle and poverty and police brutality
Yeah.
and living in the in the hood and
Yeah,
living.
it's almost in a way like Notorious B.I.G. was like more gangster in a
Yeah,
way than
yeah,
Tupac was, But Tupac was like, I'm a thug.
yeah.
But it's almost like Notorious B.I.G. was actually more gangster in
In
a
a
way
way,
as a
yeah,
rapper than Tupac was.
yeah.
He was more of a gangster.
Yeah, I think Tupac was more about defending his character as a person. Like I don't think his him acting crazy or like spitting on the paparazzi or was because I'm a gangster. It was more of respect me for who I am as a man.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he felt like there was a system. His mother was a Black Panther, so there was a system that he felt he had to fight. So, like, when him spitting on the media and doing stuff
Yeah,
like that was, I'm spitting on, the 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 thing. You propagandists.
yeah,
You're here to propagandize things. You're not here for the truth, like he said. He said it himself. You guys ain't here for the truth. You already got me convicted. You got me. You already made up your minds. I think he even said that in the courtroom. He like told the judge, "You guys already got your mind made up about me.
yeah.
You already got your mind made up about me. Like so, what do I gotta say?" And then that's when he ended up going to jail because he just told the judge, like, I already feel that you already got your mind made up. So it is what it is. But we'll end the excuse me. We'll end the podcast here with a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the podcast. Or our opinions, or just the podcast overall, or what we had to talk about. Would appreciate a like and a subscribe. We're gonna working on more stuff, so we're gonna have more videos to come. So just if you can, like and subscribe, and just keep looking for us. We hope you guys liked the video. So we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Deuces.